Lab2A, Joe Cerrone, Kid 134, Basic AutoCAD for Interior Design. In this exercise, we've created this mirror, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a solid model of it. We're going to go to Model Space, and so here is our CAD geometry. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Home tab, and we're going to use a layer, and I think I'm going to just create a new layer. And so I'll make the furniture layer active, and then I'll create a new layer by clicking this little icon right here, and we'll call it 3D. And then I'll make the color for that. I think I'll make it brown. And I'll make that current. And then what we're going to do is we're going to copy this to the side, and we're going to use the 3D workspace. So we'll go and we'll say copy, select the object, hit enter where we're copying it from, and then where we're going to copy it to. And I like to put some space between the two-dimensional geometry and where I'm going to put the three-dimensional geometry. And then I'm going to erase the dimensions. And I'll leave the lines for the mirror. And then what we'll do is we'll switch over to an isometric 3D modeling workspace. And then we'll switch to an isometric view. And we can turn our menu back on, turn our menu bar back on, and it would be under View, 3D View, Southeast Isometric. Or you could also go under here and choose the Southeast Isometric icon. And then we're in the 3D layer, and we're going to use something called Press Pull, which will allow us to press and pull these boundary shapes that are going to make up the frame. And so I'm going to pan over, zoom in a little bit. I'm going to get the Press Pull command. I'm going to hover in that area right there, and then I'm going to make these 0.5. If we hit escape and we change it from wireframe to conceptual, you can actually see it as it models it. Press pull, hover in the area, acquire it. As you can see, it's pulling it or it's pressing it. And so we're just going to pull it, and we're going to say 0.5. We'll do the same here. 0.5. 0.5. And then we'll hit escape, and we'll change the color to silver within the properties. And so we would need to go to properties, alright, rather than to create the model with press pull, we're going to create it with a box, and we're going to make a layer, and we're just going to add a new layer. And so we'll say new layer, and we'll say mirror, and I'm going to make this, let's go with like a light cyan, and we'll tone down the line weight a little bit, and we'll make that current. And so now that the layer is current, when we draw with the layer, we'll see it within the model. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw a box, and that box is going to be in this corner. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the shift key in the middle mouse wheel, and I'm going to draw it from this corner right here to this corner over here. And I'm not sure why the color turned out, and then we'll give it a thickness. As we go up and we go down, we can make that thickness, we'll go down 0.125. and I'll put it on Mirror 3D Properties by Layer. And so I'm not sure why my properties aren't by layer, but we'll go to Properties and we'll say Color. Alrighty. And then what I like to do is I like to rotate these 3D into an isometric view, and we'll do that on the Floor Plan tab. And so what I'll do is I'll create a viewport, and what I like to do is I like to just draw a circle. And we'll put that on the viewport layer. And then we'll convert that circle to a viewport. So we'll say View, Viewport Object. And then I'll double click in there and I'll center up the 3D. And then what I'll do is I'll grab an isometric view within that by saying View, 3D View, Southeast Isometric. And we'll rotate it 3D. And so we'll say 3D Rotate. We'll select the object, hit enter, we'll grab this hoop, and then we'll bring that up, hit escape, view, visual style, conceptual, and we can make that a little bigger, I think. And so double click in the viewport, Control R also works. Alrighty, we'll save the drawing. And that completes this video.